Why do some people celebrate their 90th birthday in perfect health, while others struggle to make it past 80, even when they seem to be doing everything right? In the next 15 minutes, you'll discover 7 hidden health problems that silently steal years from your life. Problems your doctor might not even be checking for regularly. And here's something that will surprise you. The 5th one is so commonly overlooked that Johns Hopkins researchers call it the invisible epidemic. Yet fixing it could add an entire decade to your life. These aren't rare conditions or genetic mysteries. These are common detectable problems hiding in plain sight. Last month, researchers at Harvard Medical School reviewed detailed health data from over 50,000 people who didn't make it to 85. What they discovered was startling. Most of them didn't die from the diseases they knew they had. They died from hidden health problems that went completely unnoticed and untreated until it was far too late. Hidden reason 1: silent chronic inflammation. Your body could be severely inflamed right now, and you'd have absolutely no idea it's happening. Unlike the visible inflammation you see with a cut or sprained ankle, chronic low-grade inflammation happens deep inside your body without any obvious symptoms. The Mayo Clinic has published extensive research showing that this silent inflammation damages your arteries, weakens your heart, disrupts your brain function, and accelerates aging in every organ system. Harvard researchers have found that people with high levels of inflammation markers in their blood are 3 times more likely to die within the next decade compared to people with normal levels. This isn't about feeling sore or swollen. This is about invisible cellular damage happening 24 hours a day. Think about what inflammation actually does inside your body. It starts as your immune system's normal response to threats, but when it never shuts off, it becomes the threat itself. Your immune cells begin attacking healthy tissue, your blood vessels develop microscopic damage, and your organs operate under constant stress. Studies from Johns Hopkins show that chronic inflammation is linked to heart disease, stroke, diabetes, dementia, and even cancer. The frightening part is that you can feel completely fine while your inflammation levels are dangerously high. You're not experiencing pain, you're not running a fever, and you're going about your daily life while your body is slowly breaking down. Doctors call this inflammaging, the process where ongoing inflammation speeds up how fast you age. Research consistently shows that people who live past 90 have significantly lower inflammation levels than those who don't, even when comparing people with similar lifestyles. Kenneth, a 76-year-old from Ohio, had no symptoms at all, but requested inflammatory marker testing during his annual physical. His CRP level came back extremely elevated, and further testing revealed significant arterial damage that was completely asymptomatic. Here's what you need to do immediately. Ask your doctor to check your CRP level, that's C-reactive protein, at your next appointment or schedule a visit specifically for this test. It's a simple blood test that measures inflammation in your body. If your CRP is elevated, focus on these proven inflammation reducers. Eat fatty fish twice weekly, eliminate processed foods and added sugars, include colorful vegetables at every meal, and add turmeric or ginger to your cooking. These aren't complicated changes, and research shows they can lower inflammation markers within weeks. You can also reduce inflammation by getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep, managing stress through deep breathing, and staying physically active, even with gentle walking. Don't wait for symptoms to appear. Ask your doctor about CRP testing at your next visit. Hidden reason 2: inadequate protein and muscle loss. When was the last time you actually thought about how much protein you ate today? Most seniors consume far less protein than their bodies desperately need, and this deficiency triggers a devastating condition called sarcopenia, the progressive loss of muscle mass and strength. Johns Hopkins researchers have documented that after age 60, People lose approximately 3 to 8% of their muscle mass per decade, and this loss accelerates significantly after age 70. The CDC has published data showing that inadequate protein intake is one of the primary reasons people become frail, fall frequently, lose independence, and die prematurely. This isn't about bodybuilding or vanity. Your muscles control everything from your ability to walk and balance to how efficiently your body processes blood sugar and fights infection. Muscle tissue is metabolically active, meaning it burns calories and regulates your metabolism even when you're sitting still. When you lose muscle, your metabolism slows down, your blood sugar becomes harder to control, and your body becomes less resilient to illness and stress. Harvard Medical School research shows that people with low muscle mass have higher rates of hospitalization, longer recovery times from illness, and significantly shorter lifespans. The problem is that many seniors eat the same amount of protein they consumed when they were younger, but aging bodies actually need more protein to maintain muscle, not less. Your body becomes less efficient at using protein as you age, so you need to consume more to achieve the same muscle building and muscle maintaining effects. Studies show that inadequate protein combined with physical inactivity creates a vicious cycle. You lose muscle, you become weaker, you move less, and you lose even more muscle faster. Rita, an 82-year-old from Florida, was losing strength rapidly and struggling to get up from chairs. Her doctor discovered she was eating only 30 grams of protein daily. Within 6 months of increasing her intake to 80 grams and doing simple resistance exercises, she regained most of her strength. Here's your exact solution. Aim for at least 25 to 30 grams of protein at each main meal, which totals 75 to 90 grams daily. Good protein sources include eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, chicken, fish, lean beef, beans, lentils, and tofu. One chicken breast provides about 30 grams, 2 eggs give you 12 grams, and a cup of Greek yogurt contains 15 to 20 grams. Spread your protein throughout the day rather than eating it all at once, because your body can only process a certain amount at each meal. Combine this protein intake with simple resistance activities. Even lifting light soup cans or doing chair exercises builds muscle. You don't need a gym membership or complicated equipment. Start adding protein to every meal today. Your muscles literally can't wait any longer. Hidden reason 3. Undiagnosed sleep disorders. Poor sleep isn't just annoying or exhausting. It's actively killing you, and most people have no idea they're suffering from a diagnosable sleep disorder. The Mayo Clinic reports that more than 50% of adults over 65 have significant sleep problems, but fewer than half ever discuss it with their doctor or get tested. Stanford sleep researchers have documented that chronic poor sleep accelerates cognitive decline, increases heart attack and stroke risk, weakens immune function, and dramatically shortens lifespan. Sleep apnea alone, where you stop breathing repeatedly during the night, affects at least 25% of older adults and is linked to sudden cardiac death. These aren't minor inconveniences. These are life-threatening conditions disguised as normal aging. During sleep, your brain clears out toxic proteins that accumulate during the day. Your heart rate and blood pressure drop to give your cardiovascular system a break, and your immune system produces infection-fighting compounds. When sleep is disrupted, whether from apnea, insomnia, restless leg syndrome, or other disorders, none of these critical processes happen properly. Research from Johns Hopkins shows that people who consistently sleep less than 6 hours per night, or who have fragmented sleep from disorders, have significantly higher rates of dementia, heart disease, diabetes, and early death. The warning signs are often dismissed as normal. Snoring loudly, waking up gasping, feeling exhausted despite spending 8 hours in bed, falling asleep during the day, or waking up with headaches. Many people assume this is just part of getting older, but it's not. These are symptoms of treatable medical conditions that are slowly destroying your health night after night. Wayne, a 79-year-old from Texas, complained to his doctor about constant fatigue despite sleeping 9 hours nightly. A sleep study revealed he was stopping breathing 47 times per hour due to severe sleep apnea he never knew he had. Here's what you must do. If you snore loudly, wake up gasping or choking, feel exhausted after a full night's sleep, or fall asleep easily during the day, talk to your doctor about a sleep study. These studies can now be done at home with portable equipment. You don't need to spend a night in a lab. If you have trouble falling asleep or staying asleep, keep a sleep diary for 2 weeks, tracking when you go to bed, when you wake up, and how you feel, then show it to your doctor. Avoid dismissing sleep problems as normal aging. Treatment options range from simple lifestyle changes and positional therapy to CPAP devices for apnea or cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia. If you snore or wake up tired, get tested this month. Untreated sleep problems are silent killers. Hidden reason 4. Chronic mild dehydration. How many times did you actually feel thirsty today? If your answer is rarely or never, that's the problem. As you age, your body's thirst mechanism becomes less sensitive, meaning you can be significantly dehydrated without feeling thirsty at all. Harvard Medical School researchers have found that chronic mild dehydration in older adults contributes to urinary tract infections, kidney stones, constipation, confusion, falls, and even higher mortality rates. The National Institute on Aging reports that dehydration is one of the most common reasons seniors are hospitalized, yet it's almost completely preventable. Your body is approximately 60% water, and every cellular process depends on adequate hydration. When you're chronically underhydrated, everything suffers. Dehydration affects your body in ways you might not connect to fluid intake. Your blood becomes thicker and harder for your heart to pump, increasing strain on your cardiovascular system. Your kidneys struggle to filter waste efficiently, leading to toxin buildup. Your brain tissue actually shrinks slightly when dehydrated, affecting memory, balance, and decision-making. The Mayo Clinic has documented that even mild dehydration impairs cognitive function, increases fall risk, and worsens existing health conditions. Older adults are particularly vulnerable because kidney function naturally declines with age. Certain common health issues, increased fluid loss, and decreased thirst sensation means you're not prompted to drink. Many seniors avoid drinking fluids because they don't want to use the bathroom frequently, especially at night. This creates a dangerous cycle where chronic dehydration becomes the norm rather than the exception. Gloria, an 81-year-old from Arizona, suffered from recurring urinary tract infections for 2 years, despite various interventions. Her doctor finally realized she was drinking less than 3 cups of fluid daily. When she increased her intake to 8 cups daily, the infections completely stopped. Here's your specific hydration plan. Drink 8 ounces of water immediately upon waking, another 8 ounces mid-morning, 8 ounces with lunch, 8 ounces mid-afternoon, and 8 ounces with dinner. That's 40 ounces minimum, and you should add more if it's hot or you're active. Set alarms on your phone or watch to remind you to drink at these times because you cannot rely on thirst. Keep a water bottle visible at all times, on your kitchen counter, beside your chair, on your nightstand. If plain water feels boring, add lemon slices, cucumber, or drink herbal tea. Your urine should be pale yellow. If it's dark, you're dehydrated. Track your fluid intake for 1 week to see your actual patterns. Set water reminders on your phone today. Chronic dehydration is a completely preventable killer. Hidden reason 5. Untreated hearing loss. Here's the invisible epidemic that Johns Hopkins researchers warn about: untreated hearing loss. More than 50% of adults over 70 have significant hearing loss, but fewer than 20% use hearing aids or seek treatment. This seems like a minor inconvenience, but the research is absolutely clear. Untreated hearing loss dramatically accelerates cognitive decline, increases dementia risk, causes social isolation, raises fall risk, and shortens lifespan. Johns Hopkins conducted a landmark study following nearly 2,000 older adults for years and found that even mild, untreated hearing loss doubled the risk of dementia. Moderate hearing loss tripled the risk, and severe hearing loss made people 5 times more likely to develop dementia. This isn't coincidence. Your brain needs constant auditory stimulation to stay healthy. When you can't hear properly, your brain has to work much harder to process sounds and fill in the gaps of what you're missing. This constant extra effort exhausts your cognitive resources, leaving less mental energy for memory, thinking, and other brain functions. Harvard researchers have found that hearing loss causes physical changes in the brain. The auditory cortex actually shrinks from lack of stimulation, and the brain reallocates resources away from processing sound. Additionally, when you can't hear conversations clearly, you start avoiding social situations. You stop going to family gatherings, you decline invitations, and you withdraw into isolation. Research from the National Institute on Aging shows that this social withdrawal triggered by hearing loss is one of the strongest predictors of early death. People dismiss hearing loss as a normal part of aging that doesn't require treatment, but this attitude is deadly. Modern hearing aids are sophisticated, often invisible, and can be life-changing. Gerald, a 77-year-old from Michigan, became increasingly withdrawn and irritable over 3 years. His family thought he was developing dementia, but testing revealed his cognition was fine. He simply couldn't hear. Within 2 months of getting hearing aids, his personality completely transformed, and he became socially engaged again. Here's what you must do immediately. If you frequently ask people to repeat themselves, have trouble hearing in noisy environments, turn the television volume up high, or notice others seem to mumble, get your hearing tested. Many audiologists offer free hearing screenings, and some pharmacies and community centers provide testing events. Don't wait until your hearing loss is severe. Early intervention prevents the cascade of cognitive decline and social isolation. If cost is a concern, know that hearing aid prices have dropped dramatically, and many insurance plans now cover them. Some states offer assistance programs for hearing aids. If you've been diagnosed with hearing loss but aren't using hearing aids, start using them consistently. Your brain needs that auditory input. Get a hearing test this week. Your brain's health depends on what you can hear. Hidden reason 6. Declining balance and fall risk. Have you noticed yourself holding onto walls or furniture more often when you walk? That's an early warning sign of declining balance that most people ignore until it's too late. The CDC reports that falls are the leading cause of injury and death for Americans over 65, with 1 in 4 older adults falling each year. What many people don't realize is that even if a fall doesn't kill you immediately, it often triggers a cascade of health decline that leads to death within months. Mayo Clinic researchers have found that after a serious fall, many seniors develop a fear of falling that causes them to limit activity, which leads to muscle weakness, which increases fall risk even more. This creates a deadly downward spiral that's completely preventable if you address balance problems early. Your balance system relies on 3 things working together: your vision, your inner ear, and sensory feedback from your feet and legs. As you age, all 3 systems naturally decline, but this decline can be dramatically slowed or even reversed with proper intervention. Research from Johns Hopkins shows that balance exercises reduce fall risk by nearly 40%, yet most people never do them. Warning signs of declining balance include feeling unsteady when walking, needing to hold on to things when standing up, difficulty walking in the dark, and feeling dizzy when you move your head quickly. These symptoms often develop so gradually that people adjust their behavior without realizing their balance is deteriorating. They start avoiding stairs, they hold railings everywhere, They move more cautiously, and they convince themselves this is normal aging. But it's not inevitable, and ignoring it is dangerous. Diane, an 84-year-old from California, had a minor stumble that made her realize her balance wasn't what it used to be. Instead of waiting for a serious fall, she started doing daily balance exercises. 6 months later, her balance had improved so significantly that she walked more confidently than she had in years. Here's your simple balance improvement plan. Every single day, practice these 3 exercises. First, stand behind a sturdy chair and practice standing on one foot for 10 seconds. Then switch feet. Work up to 30 seconds per foot over time. Second, practice heel-to-toe walking. Place one foot directly in front of the other and walk forward 20 steps, as if walking a tightrope. Third, practice standing up from a chair without using your hands. This builds leg strength essential for balance. Do these exercises near a wall or sturdy furniture you can grab if needed. Additionally, have your vision checked annually because poor vision dramatically increases fall risk. Review your home for hazards, remove throw rugs, improve lighting, install grab bars in the bathroom, and keep walkways clear. Wear proper footwear with non-slip soles. Never socks on smooth floors. Test your balance today by standing on one foot right now. If you can't hold it for 10 seconds, you need to start practicing immediately. Hidden reason 7. Social isolation and loneliness. You might be surrounded by people and still be dangerously isolated. There's a critical difference between being alone and being lonely, and research shows that loneliness is a killer regardless of how many people are physically around you. Harvard's study of adult development, the longest-running study on human happiness and health, followed people for over 80 years and found that the quality of relationships predicts health and longevity better than cholesterol levels, blood pressure, or any other health marker. The CDC has published research showing that social isolation and loneliness increase the risk of premature death by 50%. That's equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes per day. This isn't about being an introvert or enjoying time alone. This is about lacking meaningful human connection, and it's lethal. Loneliness triggers a stress response in your body that never shuts off. Your cortisol levels stay elevated, your inflammation increases, your blood pressure rises, and your immune system weakens. Research from Johns Hopkins demonstrates that lonely people have higher rates of heart disease, stroke, depression, cognitive decline, and early death even after controlling for other health factors. The danger is that loneliness often develops gradually, and people don't recognize it as a health threat. You might see family occasionally, exchange pleasantries with neighbors, or attend events, but still feel fundamentally disconnected and alone. Genuine connection requires more than physical proximity. It requires meaningful conversation, mutual support, shared experiences, and feeling truly known by others. Many seniors experience profound loneliness after losing a spouse, retiring from work, having adult children move away, or facing mobility limitations that restrict social activities. Joyce, an 80-year-old widow from Oregon, felt increasingly depressed and isolated after her husband died. Her health deteriorated rapidly until she joined a weekly community gardening group. The combination of regular social interaction, physical activity, and sense of purpose completely transformed her mental and physical health within months. Here's what you need to do starting this week. Identify 3 specific ways you'll create meaningful connection. First, schedule regular contact with at least one person. A weekly phone call with a friend or family member, a standing coffee date with a neighbor, or joining a regular activity group. Second, find a community activity that meets your interests. Senior centers, libraries, religious organizations, volunteer opportunities, hobby clubs, or exercise classes. The specific activity matters less than consistent attendance, where you see the same people regularly. Third, reach out when you're struggling instead of isolating. Call a friend when you're feeling down. Accept invitations even when you don't feel like it, and be honest about needing connection. If mobility limits your options, explore telephone reassurance programs, online communities for seniors, or virtual classes. Don't wait for others to reach out to you. Be proactive about building and maintaining relationships. Reach out to someone today. Meaningful connection is medicine your body desperately needs. These 7 hidden health problems aren't death sentences, they're wake-up calls. Every single one of them can be detected, addressed, and often completely reversed if you take action now. You have far more control over your longevity than you might think. The difference between struggling to reach 80 and thriving into your 90s often comes down to catching these hidden problems early and making simple changes. Start with just one area today. Get that inflammation test. Increase your protein. Schedule a sleep study. Drink more water. Test your hearing. Practice your balance, or reach out to someone. Small actions today create years of healthy life tomorrow. Which of these 7 hidden reasons surprised you most? Leave a comment and tell me which one you're going to address first. I read every comment. If this information could help someone you care about live longer and healthier, share this video with them right now. They need to know these hidden dangers exist and what they can do about them. And if you want more life-saving health information that doctors don't always mention, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss important content that could add years to your life.